Let's move on and talk about trade because, as we have discussed, numerous countries have vowed to retaliate to U.S. tariffs, while members of Congress have called for limiting the president's power to enact tariffs under Section 232. J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, who serves as chairman of the Business Roundtable, also weighed in today, saying that, quote, higher tariffs and threats of trade retaliation do not move our economy in a positive direction. One of the groups also speaking out is Americans for Prosperity and their president, Tim Phillips, who's joining us now from Washington. Tim, thank you so much for coming into our studio and talking to us. So we are now seeing these steel and aluminum tariffs, which will punish manufacturers, but at the same time, President Trump wanting to make more cars in the United States and trying to use Section 232 in order to make that happen. Do you believe that there's a coherent strategy here from the administration?
We believe it's a bad strategy. So much of what this administration is doing economically is really helping. This economy is taking off, and the tax cuts and tax reform and the deregulatory effort that's spurring job creation, they're helping. But these tariffs, the protectionism, they're bad policy. They actually will drive up consumer prices. They'll harm a lot of American businesses that depend on exports. You know, protectionism always sounds good and it makes folks feel good because it feels like you're being tough. But you're not being tough on China or the United Kingdom. You're being tough on American consumers and businesses. So we think it's a bad idea, and we're urging a different direction away from these tariffs from the administration.
Talking about about that impact on the tariffs,
right.
You can see that the jobs that will be impacted in the steel and aluminum industry, for example, 26,000 more jobs. But when it comes to other parts of the economy, 500,000 jobs that will be lost. So the president here getting to decide who wins and who loses. How much of the GOP's credibility is lost as a party of small government and free trade?
You make a great point. A lot of that credibility is at stake here. The idea that politicians in either party can sit in Washington, D.C. and look at a $13 trillion complex economy and pick winners and losers with laser beam precision and it will be a good result, that's silly. The real world doesn't work that way. And so we're urging this top-down approach where government picks certain industries to prop up, others to harm. Let's do away with that. Let's get back to genuine free trade. There's no such thing as perfect trade. We know that. But freer trade is far, far better, and the results are better for American consumers and really for our entire country. So we're urging that with this administration. They do a lot of good things, their tax cuts, et cetera, but this is not good policy. We're urging a different direction. Larry Kudlow, you've heard him say that this is a negotiating tactic. These tariffs, well, they're actually starting to take effect. We're seeing the retaliatory efforts from other nations now. We're slipping into a trade war. That's not good for anyone, especially American consumers and American businesses. And this economy, it's taking off. The numbers are clear. Let's not undermine it with protectionism.
So, Tim, why take this approach, which is this multi-million-dollar public campaign to reach citizens rather than lobby directly to government? You've got great access to government with the backing of the Koch family fortune. Why go public like this?
We have talked to the administration privately. We've also made our concerns known publicly. That's just not enough. And this issue is so big. It can harm this economy and a lot of Americans so badly that we felt compelled to take the next step. So we've committed to a multi-million-dollar effort over the next several years to actually have a conversation with the American people, beginning with conservatives and Republicans who often help elect a lot of the Republicans out there, making sure these activists, these folks understand the virtue of trade and how it helps lift people up and live better lives. So we're making that effort because we've not been able to get the administration to move away by just simply voicing opposition. This is a long-term effort for us.
David Koch stepping away from business and political ventures, how will that affect conservative politics?
No question, it's a loss. From day one, David Koch has been the president of Americans for Prosperity Foundation. He's an inspirational leader. It is a real loss, and we wish David and his lovely wife Julia and their family, that's a wonderful family, the very best in these coming months. And there's no way around it. It is a loss to lose David at this point, but he has been such a good force for decades now in the arena, and we wish him the best.
Tim, thank you so much for your time. Tim Phillips, president of Americans for Prosperity, joining us from Washington.